I'll take you through my journey. Law for 4 years in Parklands and 2 years in Kenya School of Law. Admitted to the bar. I never practiced. So you can imagine also the issues I was having with the parents. You've gone through 6 years in school and you've never once sat in somebody's law firm or even gone to court. The only time I went to court was because it was part of the internship. Through and through, I've always done business. And how the journey for business began was all the way in primary. There's a time our cousins had to move in with us because they were having a few issues in their household. So we would find ourselves, my cousins were 4 and we were 3. So those are 7 kids in one household. And there's only 2 incomes. So we thought, okay, we need some extra pocket money here because things are really strained. So we started a bakery. And each of us would carry scones and mandazis to school and sell. Well, let's just say I'm the one who brought down that business because I would sell things on credit, so it died. And then I went into high school. I was in PB. And in PB, there was still a strain in finances because it was still one income. And my brothers, I have older brothers, I'm the last born. One was in high school, he was about to clear, and the other one was in uni. This is a business I'm doing in 2 weeks. I get my money and I kill it. And the essence of doing that business was so that I could buy textbooks from the seniors. I discovered when guys are clearing, they tend to sell their books at a subsidized price, so it made more sense to buy from them than go and buy it from a bookshop. And I was like, I'm not going to ask for money for books. All I told the folks is I want a box of biscuits and sweets. That's my capital, and I'll work with that. And from there, I was able to grow, but I had to kill it before I got into trouble. And that was the business I did in high school. When I cleared, my neighbor approached me and told me, we're going to get paid for something we enjoy doing. I was like, what is that? Dancing. I was like, this is so cool. How long are we going to dance? We're going to dance for 2 weeks. I told the folks I've gotten a job and I'm going to get paid for it. And they're like, what's the job? We'll be dancing. Where? In clubs at night. And they're like, aye, what are you lacking in this household that you have to jump from club to club dancing? So we did that for about 2 weeks, but the parents were not happy. They would not sleep until I get to the house, and they're like, if it's money you need, we'll give you. But for me, it was the experience, and I told them, I've committed myself to this project, so I know you're not happy with it, but let me finish and do this and move on. So the whole gig took us about 2 weeks and we were done. I think at that time we were getting paid like 20,000 for those 2 weeks. So trust me, I felt rich. You know, that at that time that is some serious money right after campus when you're like 18, 19. So I took my 20K and I think part of it I bought some shares in the stock exchange, and I knew by the time I'm clearing campus, you know, the dream was by the time we hit 30, you'll have your own house, a car, you'll be settled. And that was like the plan. That's why we're investing in the stock exchange and we're doing all this. So it ended. Then at about that time, the folks decided to open up a pub just before I got into campus. And I was like, hey, this is another opportunity for me. Hey, now the money will be rolling in properly. But I was told that business is not for women, so I was kept out of that business. It was only my dad and my brother who were allowed to run that business. Mom and I were kept out of it for the longest time, which I understood because also when you're in such an industry, there's also a perception. Later on, I was finally given room to run the business, and that became like my training ground. But through and through, from primary into high school, there was another business that was being done, mostly by mom. She was selling crafts abroad, the sculptures, kyondos, all those things. So she'd go for exhibitions in Europe, sometimes in specific African countries. So would help her like pack them up, but it would be the boys who would travel with her. I was not allowed to go on any of those trips, being the small one. So that's the time I got exposed to creative things, yeah? Because I would see all these beautiful things being packed and I would help pack and I would know she's going to sell them overseas. So when I got into campus and the pub is still there, and remember I'm not really allowed to be hands-on with the pub. in second year of campus, I decided to start my own business for selling jewelry. And how it started out was, I would come up with a design, and then I would approach one of these Maasai market guys, and I would draw for him and tell him, this is what I want, and he'd make it for me. Then I would walk in town and somebody would stop me and tell me, where did you get that? Then I would go to this guy, and this is where his stall is. And each time I would go back, I would find he's duplicated like 10 of my designs, and I'm like, ay, this guy. And he tells me it's business. I mean, what's the big deal? So I thought, I'm like, no, I need to start this business. Clearly, I have the idea, but I have no capital, and I don't have the workmanship, but I have the idea. So I spoke to my boyfriend. I told him, I have this idea, and I think we're going to make money out of this. And he said, okay, I'll finance. So I went into Maasai market looking for a guy who can teach that skill. Thank God I found somebody. And then it was about that time, ISEC was having a competition, and they told us, do a business plan. And if we find your business plan to be worthwhile, you'll get financing. So I drafted my beautiful business plan. I gave a presentation in a forum like this. And by the time I was done, the judges were like, basically I was dismissed. I was told you're living a dream, as in these figures. There's no way you're going to make such money. So we are not financing this business plan. So I said, okay, I'm cool with that. I'll continue with what I believe in. So we partnered up. We were 3 of us. I got the gentleman from Maasai Market, Godfrey, and then there was Cassiano, and there was me. So we came up with a beautiful plan on how to start this business. And now Godfrey was one who was making the jewelry at the time. Then later on, we got somebody else who we trained. And how I got some of my employees was I partnered with an NGO, whereby they were helping young girls in the slums. Maybe you've gotten pregnant while you were in high school, and your family decided, you know what? If you're woman enough to get a baby, you're woman enough to take care of your child. So she was on her own. So that was the first employee I got. And we had to train her how to do the jewelry. But the challenge was, you can teach somebody a skill, but the attitude is very important. But now you can imagine, I'm doing this business in second year of campus. So I have to balance law school, and I have to balance the business. And the question guys would ask me is, what are you doing in law school? Why aren't you in design school? So I joined law school because I wanted the knowledge and the power that comes with saying, I am a lawyer and I know my rights. Period. I liked that. So I never pictured myself going to court, but I liked knowing that I have that within me. Now, one of the challenges in campus was, it's a balancing act. The folks are saying, listen, you're running your own business. There's also a family business here, and we're giving you just a bit of room to help us manage it. So why are you asking for pocket money? You have your own business. We can give you a stipend from the pub depending on the work you put in. So you're sorted. And you have friends who want to party every other day. So we had we were a group of friends. We all studied in Nairobi. So we formed a little clique. And coincidentally, some of us were also in Strathmore together. So it would be Clubhouse and then Westlands. So you have that. You're trying to keep the balance of, let me party with my friends and also do business. So it reached a point whereby when I'm being told we're going out, I'm like, I can't afford it, basically. Am I going to buy beads or am I going to have a drink? So it'd be like, no, I'm not doing it. Because I have a salary I have to pay at the end of the month. You guys you don't have that responsibility. So that was a sacrifice I had to make. And then the other thing was, I think by the time I was getting to third year of campus, it gets into your head that now I'm making a bit of money, so why am I in school anyway? Yeah. So it reached a point where I thought, I don't really need to go to class. Can't I just focus on this business and grow? If I put in more hours here, I'll probably be more profitable than being in class. So that's where my focus went. And I had a very nice friend, my housemate, and she was like, you need to focus. You have to finish what you've started. At the time, she was running a spare parts shop in Kirinyaga Road. So it would be wake up in the morning, she goes to her shop, and I go. We used to call ourselves professional hookers. I would go and sell my things in the offices. I'll go to mom's office. She has her group of friends. I sell to them. They refer me to another office, like that, like that. By the time I'm done, I have my cash. Me, I'm back to school. My housemate would go. She had a shop here, and she was opening one in Mombasa. So she'd go shop to shop looking for orders. So we'd sit down, exchange notes, and I'm like, now this is how we do business. But in the long term, of course, that did not work out. Eventually, I managed to finally clear campus. Now, for the jewelry shop, for the jewelry business, I don't have a store. So you see, at least if I had a store and I'm seated in maybe somebody's office, maybe I can say I'm still selling as I'm working, but that was not the case. It was a one-man show. I'm the one who has to look for clients. I sell the product, I do the design, so the girls make the product. So in 2010, I opened an online store. I tried looking for a physical store, but they tell you goodwill $500,000. By the time you put the fixtures, 3 months deposit, 3 months right, I was like, I don't have that money, and I'm not going to a bank to ask for that money. A bank will not give me that sort of cash, and I'm a startup. Basically, they consider you to be a startup. So my friend, I have a friend who does stuff to do with marketing, market research. She sat me down, we did our market research, identified my niche market, and she set me up with an online store. At that time, I also had my own website, but I realized it was not adding value. So I needed an e-commerce site. She told me, before you spend money on an e-commerce site, open up your store here. My store is on a website called Etsy. Etsy is like Amazon, but Etsy focuses on people who make handmade products strictly. So they give you the opportunity to open your store, and it's up to you to market, upload your photos, do whatever it takes to make sure you're able to sell your product. So when I started, the biggest challenge was, how am I going to get paid? Because when somebody pays you, it goes into your PayPal account. Then from your PayPal account, you're supposed to withdraw it to your bank. Now at the time, the only bank that was giving that facility was I&M. I told them, okay, I want to do some online business, so can you give me a card or an account that will facilitate how I can withdraw money from PayPal to my account? Guess what the bank told me? Set a fee 100,000. So the thing also with online is it's intensive. It's like being on social media. You need to stay relevant. You need to be there every day. You have to be in people's faces, yeah? So it entailed me being in front of the computer on a daily basis, apart from just designing. I do my own photography. I help with the design work. I'm the one who uploads. I have to describe the product. Those were the challenges. So when the folks are telling me, when are you getting a job? I'm like, I have a job. I'm doing my own business. And they're like, no. When are you getting a job in a law firm so we can say we have a lawyer in the family? And I'm like, I still have the knowledge, but I don't have to sit in an office for me to use that knowledge. So the advantage with law school was you're taught the experiences I had. You're taught how to be able to examine people, negotiation skills, all that. So all that came into play, even in business. That's what has really helped me, the business I'm doing, and also helping with the family business, which is the pub. And finally, when they gave me more room now to run the pub, what the pub helped me to do was, in the bar you meet all sorts of people, yeah? Whether they're sober or drunk, you see all sorts of things. So it really helped me to coexist with anyone and everyone, yeah? In the instance where people are being irrational, you're forced to be really rational and reason out with that guy who in your head you're thinking, this idiot. But at that point, you really have to be calm, yeah? So that helped me, even in my own business, to be able to deal with funny characters and normal characters.